Hey, this is Connor, and I'm going to be showing you guys a quick update for the game. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail about how we implemented the systems that I'm demoing in this video, but I will do that on another day. I don't have a lot of time right now, unfortunately. So, this character, the merchant, they used to be over here, and they were just a sprite before, but now they actually have a blueprint class, and they have C++ data related to them. They're in, let me pull this over here. We have the arms dealer CPP right here. It's pretty short. And the arms dealer H right here. So if you walk up to the arms dealer, if you're close enough to be able to interact with the arms dealer, it will pop up and say press T to talk. If you do that right now, nothing actually happens, but we can implement that in the future. And I'm pretty sure we actually have it set up in the ProTag class right now. 1 second here. Yeah, so right here you can see that you talked with the merchant, and if it does find a merchant in the scene, it'll work. So right here you can see if I walk over here and press T, it'll say found a merchant because this merchant exists in the world, but if I'm within this bubble and I hit T, it'll say you talked with a merchant because you're next to a merchant that can actually talk, the way that we set it up. And we might have to change this if there's multiple merchants in one world, but the way that we're thinking about having it, there's only going to be one merchant in the hub world, so that shouldn't be too bad. Well, there'll be different kinds of merchants, but one kind of this sort of merchant. There's a new attack, which is a fireball attack. So it's a projectile attack, so it's a little bit different. It gets the player, and it gets the fireball and uses projectile motion, and it just instantiates the fireball. I think it has a target vector. Most of the weapons and attacks there's a C++ for class for them, just a parent class, but it's pretty short just to create them. And then in the ProTag class, we actually, when you click, let me just look for on click. So for cursor click right here, I'm going to change this to a switch case statement because it actually runs quite a bit faster if you have a lot of things, because this is linear, but switch case can be optimized by the compiler to actually go way faster than that. So we'll change that later, but right now it's a string's getting set when you pick the attacks on the GUI right here on the UI. The methods are set to change what your current attack is for the player, and that's how it knows what attack to spawn in that conditional for right here. And since they're both instances of the attack class, or both subclasses of it, we can just call it attack to spawn and then spawn it either attack using the correct values. So that works pretty good. And the logic for the fireball is some of it's right here. Actually, I forgot. I moved it mostly to the C++ side for just getting the location of the fireball to spawn, but it's really nothing too difficult. All you want to do is get the attack to spawn and the attack location, and you just set the rotation of the fireball to the location of the cursor in world coordinates minus the attack spawn location in world coordinates, and you just set that the rotation to that. When the attack spawns, and the projectile motion will, since the projectile right here, if you hit simulate, you can see, oh, it should go out at least. Well, it's not right now, but that's curious. Let me see if I stop the game and hit simulate. There we go. It's because the game was running. This is the regular action that the fireball would take. If the rotation's not set, it'll fly out in just in one direction. But if you just change the rotation when it spawns, it'll spawn the fireball in the desired direction, and it'll travel that way. So back in the game here, we added, right here in the top right, an EXP system. So if we go run out to the battlefield, all enemies now have XP values associated with them. So if we drop some attacks on the slime here, you'll get 10 XP for that slime, and then each slime is 10 XP. There's other systems that got implemented just to make quality of life improvements. Before, if you had not enough AP to actually cast an attack, you could still cast it, and then the AP meter would kind of get messed up. But now, this attack's too expensive for the amount of AP I have, so it cannot spawn at all. And for the fireball, it's the same way, where nothing can spawn if you don't have enough AP. So we had to add a new button, which is this button right here. It needs a logo, but if you click this button, it'll end your turn. Manually end your turn, because sometimes you just have so much AP and you don't want to move at all, so you just want to end your turn right away. So that works good. Kill that slime, and you can see that once that goes away, we have 20 XP now. And the thought was that you use this XP like currency, like you would in kind of a Souls game, where in Souls games you kill enemies and you use the currency that you get to do everything. So we're kind of gonna, it's not Souls-like at all, but just the money system where you're just gonna get XP and you can spend XP on skills. You can spend XP maybe on changing the difficulty of things, and that way players really have a lot of options on what they want to spend the one single currency that they're gonna get constantly on. So there's no leveling up, it's just using XP to buy something new. And that something new could be a skill, or maybe you buy better stats or something, but it's not a level up in a traditional sense where if EXP hits my EXP threshold, my player gains a level. So that's essentially all we have. Something that's nice with the fireballs is once that they hit the enemies, the particle emitters will actually turn off, so the flame will follow through still, but no new particles will be emitted, so the flame will die out in the distance, which looks pretty nice. And what's really cool is Unreal Epic is very good about putting a bunch of free content up on their store that people work on. We have these FX variety packs, which I've been using to create the fireball attack here. I simply use this particle system that looks really cool to set up, but it's not the most important thing that we get it set up right now if we can get it for free. So we were able to access it for free through Epic's store, and we can simply just use that asset for our projectile as a fireball right now. I don't think there's a lot of other things that I need to talk about right now. Some things that do need to change, I think, for the future are the health and the AP should just show the actual numbers of the health and AP in these boxes, because it can be pretty confusing when if you hover over either of these and want to use them, you don't know how much AP you have left, and all these things need to have descriptions when you hover on them. It tells you what the attack is, how much AP it's going to do, and how much damage it might do. Because right now, I could totally see a new person just come into this game and they would have no idea what these buttons do. So we need to fix that up. But thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you have a good one.